We're almost done. So the last thing we actually got to do is we got to call the step function for our world, which basically simulates the physics using the part6.avi engine. So without this, we won't have any simulation. And this the step function has two parameters. The first one being is the time step. So we're just going to define it here as time step, which is a member. And generally, time step, you want it to be your frame rate. So in our case, let's just take a look. So let's go ahead and double click here. Our case is in our case, our frame rate is 24 frames per second. So since that's our frame rate, we want to put it as, you usually put it as 1 over the frame rate. So in this case, it's 24. And that basically lets the engine know how many steps to go through it every frame. So that's the general rule for that. And next thing is iterations. And iterations is a number that lets the engine know how many times do you want to iterate to calculate some of the physics in there. I'm not too sure what the number does, but I do know, outside of that definition, but I do know if it's too small, then some of the physics won't get simulated properly. And if it's too big, it might eat a lot of your processing power. So for a general rule, I would just leave it as 10, unless you're very familiar with the number and you know what it does, and you can set it to whatever number you wish. So we got that going. So since this is a simulation, we want to simulate this every frame. So we do have to add an event listener that gets executed every frame. So the way we do that is we do add event listener. And the event we're going to listen to is the enter frame event. So basically, call my function, which is going to be called update every frame. And for this add event listener function requires 3 more parameters. We're just going to put false, 0, and true. I'm not going to go into this. If you're curious about what these parameters are, you can double left click this and then right click and then go to view help. And then the help will pop out for the function and let you know what all the parameters are and what they do, and you can read up on that if you're interested about it. So we still have to define our update function. So, and it is update, and it is going to get an event passed to it, so we do have to have that in the parameters. It's a void. Void doesn't pass anything back. And then we just call the step in our world, the step function in our world. So it's just my world.step. And we pass in the time step, and we pass in the iterations. And if we got everything correct, we should see our rectangle. So let's go ahead and run that. And we see no rectangle. Oh no, what have we done here? So let's make sure we got everything. Oh, I see. So it looks like I accidentally deleted the debug draw that I added from the last video, so I'll just put that in there. So you guys should have this in there. And there we go. There's our rectangle. So yours might be in a different position just because I changed my position from the other videos. But if you go ahead and go to let's see here, go to the position.set and just set it to 910. It should generally appear in the same area. So there you go. We got a nice static rectangle. So it doesn't move and it's just sitting right there. So if you want, you can just mess around with this. You can go to the set as box and mess around with the units. So let's say I want mine a little longer and I want it to be a tiny, very, very thin. So this is what we get there. Oh, and there we go. So, you know, that's pretty cool. Let's get back to original. So that's pretty much it. So now that we're here, I kind of want to go over some of the drawing stuff and the debug stuff. So if you go ahead and open up the b2 debug draw.as, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to my lesson 1. Go to the part6.avi, and I think it is in, let's see if I can find it real quick. So it is in the Dynamics folder, and it's b2 debug draw, and we're just going to go ahead and open that up with Flash. Alright, so just remove this. So here's the class, And if you go down here, you're going to see a whole bunch of static public vars. And these are basically the shape flags that allow you to tell the engine, this is what I want you to draw. And just to kind of give you a little idea of how it works, I'm going to copy the center of mass variable. I'm going to go back to our project. I'll open up the ActionScript panel again. And if you go to the draw, you can add multiple flags using the vertical bar operator, which is actually the bitwise operator. If you want to look up what it does, just Google up bitwise. So this is basically the shift above enter key. So if you see the /, I think it's /, so this one, and then shift on that key, then you'll get the vertical bar. And you can basically add those debug flags by putting vertical bars in between them. So in this one, we're going to get the shape, and we're going to also get the center of mass. If we run it, and there we go. There's the center of mass. It's right in the middle. So this is very helpful. So if we delete the shape bit one, we're just going to get the center of mass and no rectangle. So there we go. So this, whenever you guys get more advanced and you want to mess around with the debug draw, you can mess around with this. So this is pretty much it. For the next series, I want to add a couple bouncing balls in there, some dynamic shapes, and hopefully get you guys going with something more than just a static floor, which is basically what we did. So feel free to leave some comments. Feedback is appreciated, and hopefully you'll see some more of my videos coming up in the Box2D forums. And I'm glad this Box2D engine is out. It's really cool. I think it has a lot of potential, and I can't wait for it to grow even bigger. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see everyone around. Bye bye.